Hare Krishna. Welcome all of you for today's reading session. Let us begin with prayers. Nama Om Vishnu Padaya Krishna Presthaya Bhutale Srimate Bhakti Vedanta Swamin Nitinamine Namaste Saraswate Deve Gauravani Pracharine Nirvishesha Shunyavadi Paschatya Deshatarine जय श्री कृष्ण चैतन्य प्रभु नित्यानंद श्री अद्वैत गदाधर श्रीवासादि गौर भक्त वृंद हरे कृष्ण 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 हरे 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 राम 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 हरे हरे. Reading from the book A Second Chance, the story of a near-death experience by His Divine Grace Vishwaguru Abhay Charanaраvinda Bhaktivedanta Swami Srila Prabhupada. We are going to read the last chapter of this book. I request all of you to please hear attentively. At the end of the reading, we will be having an interactive Q&A session, a quiz. I'm sharing my screen so that you can also see as I read. Chapter 22, entitled The Glories of the Holy Name. Then Yamaraja, considering himself and his servants offenders, spoke as follows, begging pardon from the Lord. My Lord, my servants have surely committed a great offense by arresting a Vaishnava such as Ajamila. O Narayana, O supreme and oldest person, please forgive us. Because of our ignorance, we fail to recognize Ajamila as a servant of your lordship, and thus we have certainly committed a great offense. Therefore, with folded hands, we beg your pardon. My Lord, since you are supremely merciful and are always full of good qualities, please pardon us. We offer our respectful obeisances unto you. Shukadev Goswami continued, My dear king, the chanting of the holy name of the Lord is able to uproot even the reactions of the greatest sins. Therefore, the chanting of the Sankirtana movement is the most auspicious activity in the entire universe. Please try to understand this so that others will take it seriously. One who constantly hears and chants the holy name of the Lord and hears and chants about his activities can very easily attain the platform of pure devotional service, which can cleanse the dirt from one's heart. One cannot achieve such purification merely by observing vows and performing Vedic ritualistic ceremonies. Devotees who always lick the honey from the lotus feet of Lord Krishna do not care at all for material activities which are performed under the three modes of material nature and which bring only misery. Indeed, devotees never give up the lotus feet of Krishna to return to material activities. Others, however, who are addicted to Vedic rituals because they have neglected the service of the Lord's lotus feet and are neglected and have neglected, I'm sorry, and are enchanted by lusty desires, sometimes perform acts of atonement. Nevertheless, being incompletely purified, they return to sinful activities again and again. After hearing from the mouth of their master about the extraordinary glories of the Lord and his name, fame, and attributes, the Yamadutas were struck with wonder. Since then, as soon as they see a devotee, they fear him and dare not look at him again. When the great sage Agastya was residing in the Malaya hills and worshipping the Supreme Personality of Godhead, I approached him and he explained to me this confidential history. Srimad Bhagavatam, Canto 6, Chapter 3, verses 30 to 35. Yamaraja prays for pardon. Lord Yamaraja took upon himself the responsibility for the offense committed by his servants. If the servant of an establishment makes a mistake, the establishment takes responsibility for it. Although Yamaraj is above offenses, his servants, practically with his permission, went to arrest Ajamila, which was a great offense. The Nyaya Shastra confirms Bhrityaparadhe Swamino Dandaha. If a servant makes an offense, the master is punishable. Taking this seriously, Yamaraja, along with his servants, prayed with folded hands to be excused by the Supreme Lord Narayana. Achieving perfection. We should note that although Ajamila chanted the name of Narayana imperfectly, he was delivered from all sinful reactions. The chanting of the holy name is so auspicious that it can free everyone from the reactions of sinful activities. However, as we have mentioned several times before, no one should conclude that he may continue to sin with the intention of chanting Hare Krishna to neutralize the reactions. Rather, one should be very careful to remain free from all sins and never think of counteracting sinful activities by chanting the Hare Krishna mantra, for this is another offense. If by chance a devotee accidentally performs some sinful activity, the Lord will excuse him, but one should not intentionally perform sinful acts. One may very easily practice chanting and hearing the holy name of the Lord and thus become ecstatic in spiritual life. The Padma Purana states, Namaparadha yuktanam namanyeva harantyagam avishranti prayuktani tanyevartha karani cha. Even if one chants the Hare Krishna mantra offensively, one can nullify these offenses by continuously chanting without deviation. One who becomes accustomed to this practice will always remain in a pure transcendental position, untouched by sinful reactions. A devotee's duty is to chant the Hare Krishna mantra. One may sometimes chant with offenses and sometimes without offenses, but if one seriously adopts this process, he will achieve perfection, which cannot be achieved through Vedic ritualistic ceremonies of atonement. Persons who are persons who are attached to the Vedic ritualistic ceremonies but do not believe in devotional service, who advise atonement but do not appreciate the chanting of the Lord's holy name, fail to achieve the highest perfection. Devotees, therefore, being completely detached from material enjoyment, never give up Krishna consciousness for Vedic ritualistic ceremonies. Those who are attached to Vedic ritualistic ceremonies because of lusty desires are subjected to the tribulations of material existence again and again. Since this incident, the Yamadutas have given up the dangerous behavior of approaching devotees. For the Yamadutas, a devotee is dangerous. Thus ends chapter 22 of the book. A Second Chance, the story of a near death experience by His Divine Grace Vishwaguru Abhay Charana Bhakti Vedanta Swami Srila Prabhupada, entitled The Glories of the Holy Name. So, with this, we complete chapter 22 and also the book A Second Chance. We have completely read from this book. Now, we shall be having a quiz based on this chapter. I shall be reading out questions with four options. All you have to do is hear the questions and the options attentively and type A, B, C, or D in the chat window. So here's the first question. Why did Yamaraj beg forgiveness from the Lord? Your options are A. He failed to punish sinners. B. His servants offended a Vaishnava. C. He forgot the Lord's holy name. Or D. He neglected his duties. Please type A, B, C, or D in the chat window. Yes, all of you have given the right answer. The right answer is B. Yamaraja begged forgiveness from the Lord because his servants offended a Vaishnava, that is Ajamila. So it's very interesting to note that as soon as Yamadutas returned to Yamaraj and described all that happened when they went to punish or take away Ajamila's soul and bring them to the jurisdiction of Yamaraj, when Yamaraj heard all of this, he did not become angry. He understood that the four brilliant personalities who stopped his servants were none other than Vishnudutas, the order carriers of the Supreme Lord Vishnu. And Yamaraja immediately begs forgiveness. He says that my servants have offended your devotee, O Lord Vishnu. Please forgive me. So Yamaraja is a pure devotee, and even though he actually did his duty of punishing sinful people, that is why he had sent the Yamadutas to arrest Ajamila. But since the Vishnudutas intervened and they gave a judgment that Ajamila had already atoned for all his sinful activities simply by offenselessly chanting the holy name of Narayana. So, by hearing this judgment of the Vishnudutas, Yamaraja did not become agitated. Yamaraja accepted the jurisdiction or the judgment given by Vishnudutas because Vishnudutas are worshipable, they are representatives of the Supreme Lord Vishnu. This proves that Yamaraja is a pure devotee of Lord Vishnu and he also adheres to the orders of the Supreme Lord. Okay, let's go to the second question. Who was the devotee mistakenly arrested by the Yamadutas? It's very easy. Your options are A. Prahlad Maharaj, B. Dhruva Maharaj, C. Ajamila, or D. Bali Maharaj. So this is very simple. We have been hearing about him every day in this series, in this book. Yes, Ajamila is the right answer. Let's go to the next question. Question number 3. According to Shukadev Goswami, what activity is the most auspicious in the universe? Your options are A. Chanting the Lord's holy name. B. Performing sacrifices. C. Observing Vedic rituals. Or D. Studying the Vedas. Yes, A is the right answer. Shukadev Goswami gives a conclusion after narrating this entire pastime of Ajamila. He says the most auspicious activity in the universe is to chant the holy names of the Lord. Chanting and hearing to the holy names and activities of the Supreme Lord purifies a person immediately, and therefore that's the most auspicious activity in this entire universe. In fact, chanting the holy names of the Lord is more exalted than performing Vedic rituals or studying the Vedas or cultivating knowledge or performing vows, sacrifices, and all of this. So that is why Krishna also says in the 10th chapter of the Bhagavad Gita, Yajnanam Japa Yajñosmi. Among all the yajnas, the best yajna or sacrifice is to chant the holy name of the Lord. Question number 4. What does chanting the holy name cleanse the heart from? Your options are A. Ignorance, B. Dirt of sinful desires, C. physical diseases, or D, fear of death? So, as we read in this chapter, you have to answer according to that. So, there are mixed answers. Some are saying C, some are saying B, but the right answer is B, dirt of sinful desires. What is the difference between chanting and atonement processes recommended in the Vedas? When one performs atonement or prayashchitta for his sinful activities, no doubt he is becoming free from the sinful reactions, but desires to perform new sins are still present in his heart. So, atonement does not purify a person completely. Whereas, when one chants the holy names of the Lord offenselessly, not only he becomes freed from the past sinful reactions, but the chanting will remove the dirt of sinful desires from such a person's heart. That means the sinful tendencies are completely eradicated. There is no room for his performing sinful acts again. Therefore, chanting of the holy names is much, much better compared to the material rituals recommended in the Vedic scriptures. So the answer is B, dirt of sinful desires. Let's go to the next question. Question number 5. According to the chapter, what cannot purify a person completely? Your options are A, chanting the holy name of the Lord, B, hearing about the Supreme Lord, C, serving devotees of the Supreme Lord, or D, Vedic ritualistic ceremonies alone. Please type A, B, C, or D in the chat window. Yes, as most of you have said, option D is the right answer. What cannot purify a person completely? Option D, Vedic ritualistic ceremonies alone. So, Vedic ceremonies alone cannot purify a person completely, but chanting of the holy names of the Lord can completely purify a person. That is why, in all Vedic ritualistic ceremonies, along with the process of ceremony, the chanting of the holy names of the Lord should go on side by side. Otherwise, simply Vedic rituals will not purify a person. The Vedic rituals have to be accompanied with Sankirtana or the chanting of the holy names. Question number 6. Devotees who relish the lotus feet of Krishna are not interested in what? Your options are A, cultivating spiritual knowledge, B, material activities under the modes of nature, C, hearing about the Lord, or D, studying the scriptures. Please type A, B, C, or D. Yes, as most of you have said, B is the right answer. Devotees who relish the lotus feet of Krishna are not interested in material activities under the modes of nature. They are interested in studying the scriptures, they are interested in hearing about the Lord, they are interested in cultivating spiritual knowledge, provided it is in line with devotional service of the Lord. But definitely, the devotees are not interested in material activities which are all conducted under the influence of the three gunas, because such material activities might give temporary material punya, but it is not in line with serving the Lord. So, devotees of the Lord are only interested in doing those activities which will help them further increase their attachment to the lotus feet of the Lord. So, option B was the right answer. Okay, next question. Why do people return again to sinful activities even after atonement? Your options are A, they forget the scriptures, B, they are forced by the society, C, their purification is incomplete, or D, they lack education. What is the right answer? Yes, most of you are giving, all of you are giving the right answer. Most of you. The answer is C. Their purification is incomplete. That is the right answer. Not because they forget the scriptures, not because they are forced by the society, or not because they lack education, but because their purification is incomplete. People often return to sinful activities even after performing severe atonement processes. So, purification is incomplete until one cleanses the sinful desires in one's heart. Simply by performing some ritual, some atonement, one cannot achieve this freedom from sinful desires. So, their purification is incomplete even after performing atonement. But when one chants the holy name of the Lord, it cleanses one's heart completely of all sinful tendencies. That is complete purification. That is what Chaitanya Mahaprabhu says in the first verse of Shikshashtakam. Cheto Darpanam Arjanam. Chanting of the holy name cleanses all the dirt accumulated in one's consciousness, in one's mind. Therefore, chanting is the most purifying process. We should continue to chant the Hare Krishna Mahamantra in all circumstances. Let's go to the next question. Who explained this confidential history of Ajamila to Shukadev Goswami in the Malaya Hills? Your options are A. Narad Muni, B. Vasishta Muni, C. Agastya Rishi, or D. Parashara Rishi. What is the right answer? Yes. So this was mentioned in the translation, which I read in the initial part of today's reading. So the answer is C, as most of you have mentioned. C. Agastya Rishi. Agastya Muni explained this confidential history of Ajamila to Shukadev Goswami when he approached him in Malaya Hills. That is what Shukadev Goswami himself mentions in the third chapter of the sixth canto of Bhagavatam. From this, we understand that Shukadev Goswami is not concocting a story. He is not simply telling the story of Ajamila just to create faith in the readers, but it is actually a proper historical narration, which was spoken to him by Agastya Rishi. That means it is coming in the parampara system of great sages, this history of Ajamila. That is what we must understand. We should never think that it is simply some Bhagavatam is simply containing some fictitious narrations of some imaginary stories. No, these are all actual historical incidents which are recorded in Srimad Bhagavatam. Next question. What mistake should a devotee never make regarding chanting the holy name? Your options are A. Intentionally committing sins expecting that chanting will neutralize them. B. Chanting softly. C. Chanting in a group. Or D. Chanting daily. What mistake should a devotee never commit? Yes. So all of you have given the right answer. A is the right answer. One should not intentionally commit sins expecting chanting to neutralize them. This is one of the offenses against chanting the holy names of the Lord. Namno balad yasya hi papa buddhihi. Committing sinful activities on the strength of chanting the holy names of the Lord is a grievous offense, which Srila Prabhupada has very much, he has told us to avoid this offense many a times in this book, Second Chance. Why Ajamila's chanting immediately attracted the mercy of the Lord is because Ajamila did not chant with this offense. He did not chant thinking that chanting of the Lord's name is very powerful, it will counter all my sins, therefore I will chant. No. Why Ajamila's chanting is considered offenseless? Because he chanted without this intention in mind that I will chant and my sinful activities will be neutralized by chanting. So that is why. So a devotee should avoid this kind of an offensive mentality. One should not intentionally commit sins side by side, chant, expecting that chanting will neutralize his sinful activities. This is very, very grievous offense. Last question for the day. According to the Padma Purana, what can gradually remove offenses in chanting? Your options are A. Chanting while performing charity. Option B. Chanting in holy places of pilgrimage. Option C. Continuously chanting of the holy names of the Lord. Or option D. Studying philosophy side by side. What is the answer? Yes, as most of you have said, option C is the right answer. Continuous chanting of the holy name is the only way to remove offenses in chanting. Even though we may be chanting offensively, but if you continue to chant more and more, we will be able to overcome the offenses. That is the only way to avoid offenses. We should chant continuously every day. We should chant more and more. This is what Padma Purana mentions, and this is what Srila Prabhupada also emphasizes. The only way to get out of offenses is to chant more and more continuously. So, with this, we come to the end of the quiz. And since we have also completed chanting, or sorry, reading this book, A Second Chance, we have completed the entire book, all the 22 chapters. We will begin with reading another book. Which book? I will let you know very soon. You will get updates in the daily Krishna Katha WhatsApp channel. Thank you very much for joining. We shall meet very soon again. ग्रंथराज श्रीमद् भागवतम की जय, विश्व गुरु श्रील प्रभुपाद की जय.
Yeah.
हरे कृष्णा.
Hare
Thank
Krishna.
you, Hare Krishna.